All right, everyone, welcome to week 6 of Selling Weekly Lottos. This week, I made $4,072 out of $138,000 in risk. All right, just before we start, I want to let you know, all of my positions are covered, meaning I have the shares and I have the cash and I don't use margin. All right. Also, I'm happy to buy or I'm happy to sell these shares in this time frame. This is why it works for me, because I'm okay with selling and I'm okay with buying. Third, this isn't free money. All investing carries risk, and I'm getting paid for this risk. All right. So that being said, this week's winner is mixed. First time it's mixed. I actually only won 2 out of the 4 contracts. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at all the profits. I'm just going to put everything up on the screen and you can pause it and just check it out. All right. So here we go. Boom. All right. So this week I sold an Apple 215 call. I sold it for $201 and I bought it back for $42. That's $159 profit. I sold 10 iBit 62 puts. I sold them for a total of $1,573 and I bought them back for $180. That's $1,393 profit. Those were the ones that I bought back for profit, but my MicroStrategy and my AMD calls, they were assigned because they went past the strike price. So I sold a MicroStrategy 420 call for $617, but I bought the shares for $414. All right. So when they get assigned, the shares get taken away at the maximum price, the maximum break-even price. So I sold my shares for $426.17, and I bought the shares for $414.22. That's $1,195 in profit. All right. With AMD, I sold the that was MicroStrategy. AMD, I sold the 145 call. I sold that for $364 and I bought the shares for $135.39. And so the shares get taken away at $148.64. And you subtract that by 135.39, I got $1,325 in profits from that. So total this week was $4,072 made out of $138,000 risk. So out of the 6 weeks I've been doing this, this is the first two contracts that were assigned. All right. And this is why this week's income is so skewed, so much higher than the previous week, because when the call options, especially when they're assigned, I get all the premium and I get all the share price appreciation as well. So I get both. That's why it's so high. But even if I didn't get assigned, I still would have made around $2,500 this week. So there's just a little bit extra boost. And I'm happy to sell the shares. I don't mind, even if the shares go way higher. I'm okay, because that's what I decided. That's what I said I would do. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at my spreadsheet. I'm going to move a little bit. My spreadsheet right here. Boom. All right. So you'll notice my benchmarks went up across the board this week. All right. I actually increased my weekly income, my average weekly income. That increased my potential yearly income. I increased my yield, which increased my annual projected yield. And I did this all even by reducing my average risk. All right. So pretty amazing week, I think. All right. Notably, I increased my profits from profits. Now I'm making over $100 a week just from the profits that I've already made. So I'm making profits from profits. All right. And then my time to double, my weeks to double, I reduced that. I reduced that by like 10 months. So it's going to take me 10 months less projected to make double my account. That's when I can take out half my account and just use the profits and make just as much as I'm doing. So overall, I think this was a great week. I'm happy to get assigned my calls, even though the shares are higher than before. And yeah, I hope you guys are starting to realize the potential of this passive income strategy. This is something I've been actually doing for years. All right, been coasting through my life because I'm just making pretty much a salary from selling these options, and it's been really good for me. So let me know if you have any questions. Check out my Substack if you want this all in written form, and I'll try to answer your questions as best as I can. All right, guys, see you next week.